For some, math is a challenging course in school. I know it was for myself, but others, they tend to excel. So here to talk about some supplemental help and enrichment available to kids here in Central Illinois, also high schoolers, is Mathnasium's Megan Curtale. Hi, Megan. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good, good. Did I get the last name right?
Close enough.
Okay. Well, tell everybody what the last name is.
Curtale.
Perfect. We talked about it, and I was like, I'm going to get this, and I've already let you down once, but I won't let you down with this. So let's talk about Mathnasium. I've never heard of it. So what do you guys do?
So we are a specialized math learning center. We do kids ranges pre-K all the way up through early college, really. As long as they're doing high school math in college, we can definitely help them.
Yeah.
And we work on the math fundamentals all the way up through calculus, statistics, things like that. And so we're math only, so we're not like other centers. We don't also throw in reading and stuff like that. We're just only math.
Absolutely. So what does that kind of look like? We have some binders here with us today. So kind of walk us through what these binders hold.
So when somebody wants to come in for our program, what we do is we have them in for a free assessment. Our system will always begin with doing an assessment first. It helps us pinpoint where the strengths and weaknesses are for each individual student. No two students are going to have the same issues or gaps or anything, even if they were in the same classroom together. It's kind of remarkable, but people learn differently, and so it really depends on what clicked for them. And it helps us pinpoint where the strengths and weaknesses are. From there, we build a customized learning plan that's individual to each student.
Wow.
And then each student gets their own binder, so that's where our binders come in. So they will get a binder that is individual to them. In their binder, they will always have copies of the assessments that they took so that we know exactly where they are, what their learning plan would look like. This is just a sample one that we do.
Yeah.
But then behind tab 2 is what we call our prescriptives. We refer to them as PKs. And each time a student is in, they'll work on 3 to 4 of these per session. They're separated out by our little red slips here.
Oh, sure.
So we'll always assign them. We'll have them work on a few different things. The reason we do this is that math is all about patterns. So we really don't want somebody catching onto a pattern, whizzing through a section, but then they don't actually retain what they should.
Oh, sure.
So instead, we'll have them work on a few of these per session, and then they'll also get into what we call our workout book. So workout book is tailored, so when their learning plan comes out, it will have a whole list of things that they need to work on. Workout book will actually cover everything that they'll see throughout there. And it's kind of a different creative way of looking at things. It gives some comparisons, some visual aids, just more ways to engage the students and kind of get that real life feel, so you don't get the, well, why would I ever need this again in real life?
I've had that thought, so I know it's out there.
This gives you the why, so this will give the practical application to it. Then behind our other tabs are mainly finished work that we'll keep.
Okay.
So because everything is copyrighted, it's proprietary information, we don't send anything home, but we do keep all of our finished work in the back of the binder, and then we have parents who will come in even quarterly and sit down to go over how their student's doing. We do send out monthly progress reports, but it's just a more in-depth way to look at exactly how they're doing and if they're on track to what we, are trying to get them to.
Sure. And I know this math has been a big conversation because of the pandemic. There's been some learning loss, and we've done stories about that gap and about that just lag in learning because we're not in the normal learning environment that we're used to thriving in. So from your experience and your personal opinion, what have you seen on the scape of learning loss, especially in that math section?
So it's a really good question. Usually every year Mathnasium actually has studies that are performed through different colleges out in California. That's where we're based corporately.
Okay.
And usually they say on average that students will lose up to 3 months of learning over the summer period, just because you're out of the groove, you're not really doing it, you're not using it. It's the whole use it or lose it. But then this past year, when the studies came out, they were actually showing that students are losing up to an entire year based on how early things were shut down last year, all this e-learning that's going on. Math is one of those subjects that's extremely difficult to really effectively teach on an e-learning scale. And a lot of kids are very hands-on, they're very visual, and if they don't have that, it starts to lag behind. And so a lot of the kids I'm seeing in now, instead of being maybe half a grade behind or something like that, are actually a year or more behind at this point. And so we're having to start them back at a lower level. But like I say, our assessments will pinpoint where those gaps are so we can best fill those and get them up to speed as quickly as possible. We also offer homework help. So while they're in our typical session, we'll be working on the PKs that we just went over, workout book, and then homework. So we don't assign homework to them. I feel like the kids are a little overwhelmed with that as it is these days.
Oh, sure. Yes.
But we do want them to bring their homework in. And that includes also if they come home and say, oh, it was so easy, I've already got it done. Because 9 times out of 10, it was that easy because they didn't really understand it.
Sure.
And so we always say, we'll send it in with them, we'll spot check it. Our tutors are fantastic. They'll go over, they'll spot check and make sure that they actually understood what they were doing.
That's great.
So.
I love that. I love that. So, you know, on this same kind of topic, you know, how can parents really make a difference to help their kids succeed when it comes to mathematics?
So really, it's just being hands-on and working with your student. I know that math isn't everyone's strong point, but we have a variety. We have kids who are in just normal public school. We have kids who are in private schools. We also have kids who are homeschooled, who come in and they use us every day because we actually meet the homeschool requirement for the state of Illinois. But then we also offer, not only along with our free assessments, so that you know where the gaps are, you know where to focus on, but then we also have pamphlets that they can take home for different grade levels of what you can do at home to work with your students. So we have our K through 5, and it'll just give you some ideas that are age appropriate, grade level appropriate, of things that you can do, games you can play with them, just basic skills of helping them to learn their money counting, their clock reading, things like that. And then as they get older, obviously, we have the ages 6th grade and up. And so this will be a little bit more complex math concepts and how you would apply them in everyday life, how you can work with them at home, things like that. We also offer, so sometimes we get kids who come in who are just done with the day by the time they get to us. I think we can all relate to that in our life.
Yes.
And so we try to take breaks and engage with our students. So we do different games. We have different manipulatives that we can use with them. And I brought a couple of them, but for our younger kids, one of the best games you can get for home is, everyone remembers the old game Sequence?
I love Sequence.
Well, now they have Number Sequence. So you can get Number Sequence that will do addition and subtraction. There's also a version with multiplication and division.
Wow.
Where we call these our funjucational things.
I love that word. I love that word.
So you have to learn the concept to play the game, but at the same time it's fun and it's engaging, and so they want to learn the concept.
Absolutely.
For our older kids, there's a game that we call, it's Prime Climb. I think we got this off Amazon. I haven't really seen it in too many stores, but it's a lot more engaging for the older students. It teaches them their factors, multiples. It's a lot heavier on multiplication and division, but it's actually a really fun game. Our instructors enjoy playing it with the older students, and the older students love it because it's that competitive nature that they want to do well.
Everybody thrives with a little competition, I always say. Well, Megan, we have just a couple seconds left, so can you just walk us through where you guys are located, what hours you're open, in case anybody who's watching would like to reach out?
Absolutely. So we are located in Junction City. I know it's kind of a larger complex, but we are on the side over by Prexshot, and a few doors down from there. We are open Monday through Thursday from 2 o'clock in the afternoon till 7, and then we're closed on Fridays because that tends to be a little bit heavy with family stuff. Yeah. But then Saturdays we're open from 10 to 2 as well. And then in the summertime we're also open. We have our summer program that runs, and summer hours we condense and we do Monday through Friday, 1 to 7. And then we also offer specific summer programs, and we do summer camps as well.
Awesome. Well, Megan, thank you so much for all of this information with mathematics. I know it's a very, sorry, it happens. It always happens. It's happened to me before too. My watch has actually done the same thing. So thank you so much for all of your insight. I greatly appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much for having me on.
Of course, of course. And for more information, to see all of the hours again, the location as well, we have it all listed on CIProud.com, so you can see it all there. Thanks for joining us. CI Newsday will be right back after this.